So hello everyone, welcome back to the World Racing League here on YouTube. We are here today for more of the WRL Championship with the Group 4 cars. I of course, as ever, am your commentator Zokyo here today. We are at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna, Seca in what is very overcast conditions, I have to say. Very little chance of rain, given it is California. However, still the cooler conditions are going to be affecting the kind of speeds that the cars can get up to. Certainly getting the tyres up to temperature is going to play a large factor. This is currently just the practice session. At the moment you can see the amount of marbles being laid down. These guys getting a lot of experience in Tombak, in the gravel at the moment in that four-wheel drive Lamborghini, so shouldn't have any trouble getting back out from there, although they have just come back to a stop. I'm sure they'll be fine. Tazio just getting a little bit airborne over the crest of the corkscrew there. That Alfa Romeo, as that was a Ferrari going completely off circuit. I'm not quite sure which one that was. I have to have a check in a bit. We also have Basalvo here, the Italian in the McLaren. Could be interesting to see how they do. Hobbsy in the Honda NSX. Quadj making their return after missing the last round. Good to see them back. Should be towards the front we're expecting. The top 5 all within a second at the moment, according to the graphic. Top 4 rather, or something along those lines anyway. Line item while the Ferraris, they see him going a little bit wide. Marbles can do that. Making the way underneath the Cooper Tires bridge into Sector 2. It's a fantastic circuit here, it has to be said, at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's fantastic. It's so much elevation change, as well as just the high-speed nature of it, as well as the technical parts. It's really a good all-around racetrack, and especially for its length as well. So again, the car's fantastic to see. Be interesting to see the different strengths and weaknesses. There have been a few changes in the actual cars that some people are using, as Heisenberger is currently in chat. Hello, nice to have you along. Currently, I'm just waiting for Heisenberger to join up, that's why practice is still continuing at the moment. Should be in around 6 minutes or so as a rough time guesstimate. But yeah, the strengths and weaknesses for each of the cars. Of course, the mid-engined cars like the Ferrari and the McLaren should do well in Sector 1, whereas some of the front-engine machines should be doing a little bit better towards the second and perhaps third sectors, where some of the mid-engine cars could get a little bit unstable. A-Team Ghost here as well, of course, another very strong contender. Just going into the gravel as soon as I say that. Ivaslov as well in one of the Honda NSXs. There's a fantastic grid turnout, it has to be said, once again. Currently 13 cars on circuit, as you there see Mulkey in one of the Team Scotland racing machines, the Citroens. Apologies by the way if there's any noise in the background. That would be my neighbours probably watching the Liverpool football game, assuming there is one. They're massive fans of that. Here is Mulkey. that Citroen has proven to be a very effective weapon throughout this championship so far. There you can see slightly new graphics on the car, still with that blue livery, but of course different decals. Looking fantastic. Fantastic aerial shot here as well from one of our helicopters. Should be another highlight of this broadcast. We're already up to 7 members on stream. Thanks to all of you for joining us. If you are enjoying it so far, be sure to leave a like, consider subscribing if you haven't already, to keep up to date with all of the latest racing here on the WRL channel. Tom Bach in that Lamborghini, also looking quite strong at the moment. Going down towards the Andrade hairpin. Gets his braking just about right. Nice apex on the second part of that. And again back to our helicopter as they're making their way through turns 3 and under the bridge, heading down towards 4. For Salvo up ahead there. Could be a bit of traffic, although they currently have the 4th fastest time, as Heisenberger has joined the lobby, so the series organizer has made it. Good to see. And that is a good indication that we're not too far away from the qualifying session. Down towards the corkscrew again. Oh, the McLaren gets absolutely fired off. Just the entry got it completely wrong. It just snapped to one side. That is the danger of the corkscrew. So easy to misjudge it. Salvo going heavily into the barriers. Lucky that the damage isn't on in this particular series, I believe, because it is a relatively new circuit, not to the franchise but to Gran Turismo Sport, so players still quite fresh when it comes to learning the layout compared to some of the other circuits that I've been in since day one. Still, these guys are fast learners, it has to be said. There's the other Citroen Team Scotland Racing entry, RPM. It was a 1-2 for them last time out. They're going to be trying their best to replicate that result again. Entirely possible, although they are currently 1 second slower than their teammate in the same bit of kit. We'll have to see how it goes for them. Here you see Hobbsy making their way down towards the Andrade hairpin. Gonna see if they can go around the outside, or nope, they've just run a bit wide onto the marbles. As we have an off. I'm not quite sure where that is. This is a real Scorpion to one of the Porsches. It might have been 18 Ghost, given the worn tyres and they're around that part of the circuit. Again, the corkscrew just kicking them out to one side. It's an absolutely brutal corner. In terms of overtaking opportunity, there's quite a few. Normally, if you can get down the inside of someone at the Andrade hairpin and outbrake them, that's normally a good spot. The second sector, probably braking after the straight going into turn 5, I believe it is, or turn 6 if you count that very small kink. Turn 7, very, very risky to try anything there. It's a very sharp corner. Going 2x2 through there would more than likely end up with one car on the gravel. Certainly contact, at least. And believe it or not, it is actually possible to get a move done going into the corkscrew if you can get alongside someone You want to be on the outside for the first bit, see if you can outbrake them there. You'd have the inside for the second bit. And of course the final corner as well, very, very heavy braking zone. So it's going to be another one that will be a very, very good spot for overtaking. We'll have to see how these guys utilize all of these places. Everyone has been called to go onto the circuit. Fantastic noise from the Lamborghini of Tombak there. There he is exiting the pits along with the others. RPM just going a bit wide. Oh, on the rejoin, very nearly, oh, just hits the barrier, but nearly looped it round. Line out in the Ferrari. Around the final corner at this moment in time. So who will be able to get the tyres up to temperature as efficiently as possible for qualifying? You gotta think the mid-engine cars, since they move around a bit more, probably have that advantage, although the front engine cars having the weight over the front axle a bit more with the engine weight, that could also help with warming the fronts. So many different factors that go into this. As someone is going backwards around the circuit, that's the other Ferrari of, is it A-Team Ghost, I think? Yep, they're going backwards around the circuit right now, just waiting. Tyres are absolutely shot. Good thing that ghosting's on. Or I think it's flag rules that's causing that, but still, as Monkey has made a mistake, or at least was parked up in the gravel. Just waiting for Maru to join the circuit. Again, still at 7 viewers, so thanks again for your continued support for the series and the channel. Basalvo as well. And were we waiting for real Scorpions? Yep, no, they're on circuit, so everyone is on circuit now. 14 cars in total. There you see Heisenberger with their new car, switching from the Bugatti to the McLaren. I was on about some changes in the car market. That is one of them. So clearly not happy with the heaviness of the Veyron and how much it was wearing its tyres, so trying to go for the lighter McLaren, but of course won't have that straight line advantage that he once did. Absolute mayhem at the moment at the Sector 2 marker. Or Sector 1 marker rather. There's Tazio off to join him. Back to our helicopter cam. Oh, bit of a collision. Quadge as well, the Flying Dutchman as he's known on the channel. Oh, RPM gets sent to Narnia. and the qualifier is about to begin. RPM's rear tyres are completely gone. So we're about to get things underway for the qualifying session here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for round 7 of the World Racing League Championship. The majority of people starting off on the soft compound of tyre. Iverslov the only one going for mediums, it would seem. It's going to be Tazio who will be leading them out on this opening outlet. A few more cars just leaving the pit lane now. The Salvo, of course, teammate of Heisenberger, and that's Tombach as well in that other Lamborghini. Mulkey as well, just letting a few cars pass, trying to get some clear air if they can. Certainly will be of help. Interesting tactics between these guys, letting real Scorpions pass, are they? Just about. As we're going to go on board for a lap of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with Tazio. Out the final corner they go, under the start finish line bridge. There is your timing line, over the crest and down towards the braking zone for the Andretti hairpin. Slowest corner on the circuit. Then heading down towards turn 3 and under the bridge down towards turn 4. These pretty much right angled corners, a little bit of banking to help you carry a bit more speed than you normally would if it was flat. That seems to be a thing about this particular circuit as they go through turn 6. And then this very tricky kink at turn 7. Very easy to get that one wrong. Definitely just single file through here, and of course the blind entry for the corkscrew. Start braking around where those curbstones start. Very sideways from Tazio, right on the limit. He would have lost a bit of time through there, and then this downhill roller coaster final sector of the lap. You can see the banking, able to carry so much speed through there. Then this final corner, just a little bit too wide. Going to cost him a little bit more time as well. What is it going to be from Tazio? It's 128.5. A-Team goes with a 1:30.2. Hobbsy will be the next to cross the line. So 128.7. That's enough for second at the moment. Heisenberger crosses the line 1:37.2. Leinert with a 1:29.4. Good luck by them. Real Scorpions up to 5th with a 1:32.3. Mulkey and Racing Pro side by side as they come across the line. A 1:29.9 from Mulkey, and Racing Pro with a 1:36.3, I believe that was. Tombach 1:30.5, RPM with a 1:43.5, not that great of a time. Maru with a 1:57.1, Iverslov a 1:49.9, Pasalva with a 1:30.6. So after the first round, it is actually Tazio, despite the mistakes we saw on the lap preview, who currently has the fastest time. They're going into the pits, perhaps just for an extra fresh set of softs. Of course, gotta watch that tyre wear. There's only 10 minutes in this session. A-Team Ghost betters their time, that's 1:30.0. Not quite into the 29s. No improvement for Hobbsy meanwhile. Quadge says that they are purple through Sector 2. They've got a little bit of slipstream up ahead from that Alfa Romeo that could help them as they get towards the line. This could be a juicy time here, as Mulkey goes with a 127.332. That's a fantastic time by them. Improvements for Racing Pro and Tombak, as well as Quadge. RPM as well, so plenty of improvements now. Mulkey with an absolutely blistering time at this stage. Ivaslov improves with a 134.3, still a little bit off the pace at the moment. There's only 4 minutes left in the session, as Tombak goes off circuit. That was on exit of the Andretti hairpin, I think. I'm gonna see if we can get a replay of that. There you see it. The four-wheel drive helping to drag him back out as A-Team Ghost goes into the pits, as does Hobbsy. Smart call, has to be said. Pitting, should be able to get one extra lap in. You'll be on the lightest for fuel that you would be as well. Mulkey going into the pits as well. This seems to be the go-to strategy at the moment. Maru has disconnected, I believe that is, so that's one of the Porsches. That's very much a shame if that is the case. It's looking quite good in practice. Tombak about to make their way across, as that's Racing Pro in the wall. What on earth happened to them? We're about to see. So there's on the gravel, was it a collision with Ivaslov? Or was it just Ivaslov? No, Ivaslov's okay. Oh, very near miss between them and Basalvo. That could have ended in tears. Mulkey still on that outlap at the moment. In Sector 2, Hobbsy just going a bit slow at the moment. As that's RPM on the fresh set of rubber, but making a bit of a mistake at turn 6. As someone else has just gone careening off at turn 6. It's Racing Pro having a bit of a hard time of it in that Alfa Romeo. Tombak looking very impressive at the moment in that Lamborghini, but still 7/10 off of the time set by Mulkey. Mulkey in a lead of his own at the moment. Someone's gone off at the kink at turn 8. Not quite sure who that is, but someone did make a mistake. No improvement there from Tombak. I think their tyres are past it now and they haven't gone into the pits. So I'm not sure if Tombak will be able to improve for the rest of this session. Yellow flags in this sector as someone has parked up on the inside line. Hobbsy has their hazard lights on. I don't know whether that means they're paused or if they're just going along. They're off now. Perhaps they were just signalling to another driver. Liner going down towards the corkscrew. We saw the Ferrari have a bit of difficulties with that mid-engine layout through there before. Nice and smooth through there that time. 30 seconds left in the session. I think these guys should just about be able to get onto an extra lap. So Liner's actually timed this very well. A-Team Ghost improves That is enough for 8th position. That's the 129.7. So more than half the field in the 129s. Still yellow flags in sector 1, as that's real Scorpions parked up on the side of the road. Basalvo improves us to 129.6. That pushes A-Team Ghost down to 9th. Heisenberger, fantastic time. That puts them up to 2nd. That's a 127.861 from Heisenberger. Quaj does a 128.2, which is only enough for 4th. Where are the others? Tazio. They're about to come around the final corner very shortly as Mulkey goes into the pit, so Mulkey won't improve on that time. I don't think they have to. I think Tazio might be the last potential challenger for this, and I don't think they're going to get it. It's an improvement, although it doesn't take them any higher a position. It's still 5th. Is there anyone else out there? Racing Pro improves with the 134.2, but that's still quite a way off pace. Lynard and Real Scorpions both about to come across the line. They'll be the last ones to do so. No improvement from either. So it's going to be Mulkey who will be our pole sitter. Heisenberger with a very strong showing in that new McLaren for them. They'll line up alongside Tombach 3rd. Best of the Lamborghinis. There you see the grid and how it will shape up after qualifying. And here it is, the race here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for the World Racing League. Round 7. It's going to be the Citroen of Mulkey on pole, the McLaren of Heisenberger 2nd, Tombach 3rd, Quaj 4th, making a Lamborghini 3 and 4, Tazio in the Alfa Romeo making it 5th, and RPM in 6th, Hobbsy in 7th, and Lynard will be in 8th as the cars make their way round. And it's green, 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 and the cars are off here at Laguna Seca. Heisenberger immediately goes into the slipstream of Mulkey. Not sure if they'll be able to do anything going into the Andretti hairpin. The rolling start procedure pretty much keeping it single file at the moment. We should hopefully see the pace of some of the drivers bring it a bit closer together as it develops. No major incidents as of yet. So a relatively clean start it would seem. Heisenberger able to stick with Mulkey at the moment. Tombach there just about as well. Holding on as there's some scraps going a bit further down the order, I think. Real Scorpions ahead of Racing Pro at the moment. Iverslov 11th, A-Team Ghost in 10th. These guys looking very close together at the moment. Going into the corkscrew for the first time. McLaren seemed to get a little bit offline through there. Managed to stay in 2nd for now. Everything going pretty smoothly as Tazio has picked up a 1.5 second penalty. That has to be for a major corner cut, I'd imagine. Perhaps that may have been at the corkscrew. He may have got that a little bit crossed up, easily to do so. So they're making the way through the Andretti hairpin for the 2nd time now. 15 laps here at Laguna Seca. Back to our helicopter cam. There you see the action. as I think there's a bit of a scrap going on for 5th, is there? It's certainly quite close between them. RPM now ahead of Tazio. So very good effort from RPM to gain that position. As there was a spin, I think that was, it was Racing Pro. Let's see if we can quickly catch that. So they just served a penalty of their own. Was it? Oh, the anti-cut. And then the overcorrection. Very easily done. As Heisenberger runs a little bit wide. That could put a bit of dirt on the tyres, as does RPM in the background there in one of the Citroens. Mulkey now with the 1.1 second lead. Heisenberger still able to stick in the slipstream. Only just. Keep in mind the slipstream works at a 1.3 second range, as I think that may have been Racing Pro again. Yep, at the corkscrew, just getting it a little bit crossed up on the mini-map. He should just regain his focus, see if he can just clean the tyres off. Monkey is starting to check out a bit now. The gap is over 1.3 seconds, it's 1.6 now, and you can see it continue to build and build and build, and in fact that break in the slipstream was allowing Tom Bock to come into the situation. Going on board now with the Lamborghini, as I think that may have been Quaj just getting a little bit crossed up out of the kink. Have a little look at that in a second. Let's see it then. Fairly certain it was Quaj. Was it just, yep, carrying a smidge too much speed and over the gravel. Very, very well done to keep that one in a straight line. Heisenberger without the slipstream is going to have to be very defensive against Tom Bock. No real moves being made at the moment between those two. Quaj looking to make up position, as they've actually lost position to RPM. That may have been on the downhill stretch. Apologies, must have missed that while I was viewing another replay, but RPM up into 4th after starting 6th, so a very, very strong start from them. Of course, in the Team Scotland Racing Citroen, certainly seems to be one of the strongest team pairings we have in the championship at the moment. Both, if I recall, are driver rating A, so no surprises there. And already they're starting to catch up to Tom Bock and Heisenberger up ahead, as someone has made a mistake. That was Hobbsy, I fear. Yep, and also Lynod also went off circuit as well, lost a position to Basalvo, and off circuit again. So that Ferrari really not feeling it right now, Mr. Krabs. Tyres are already going off. That's quite a shock. Tom Bock ahead of Heisenberger now. Every time I go to replay I seem to miss something, so I do apologise about that. It's very iffy about that, as someone else has gone off. It's A-Team Ghost. A-Team Ghost has gone off circuit. They've spun around. Not going to go to replay because I'll probably end up missing something going off here between Quaj and Tazio. All over the back of them at the moment. Will they try anything as they make their way up the hill? Tazio, the lighter car, they send it down the inside. Yellow flags due to, I believe that's still A-Team Ghost's car that's parked up at the side of the road just waiting for the cars to go past. So yellow flags in that sector, so Tazio couldn't have made the pass. Quaj goes into the pits for a bit of an undercut. He's the first to make a pit stop. Heisenberger coming under attack from RPM. RPM looking to go around the outside of the Andretti hairpin, maybe get a bit of a cutback. Can't quite figure it out at the moment. I think A-Team Ghost is still parked up there and they've had a lot of time to get back on circuit. Maybe it's a mechanical failure on that car that's preventing them to rejoin, but they're still causing yellow flags, which is prohibiting overtaking, of course. So they better not just have parked up there for the sake of it, because that might end up ruining some of the racing we're getting here. Nevertheless, we're going to go for the rear wing cam on Heisenberger's car. You can see the Citroen gaining in the slipstream. As soon as you get over the crest of the hill, all of your braking just evaporates. Still no overtaking allowed. You can see it there. There's a smidge of contact between them and RPM. RPM down the inside. The flags have gone for that section as Heisenberger goes into the pits anyway. The gap between Mulkey and Tom Bock currently stands at 4.7 seconds. Mulkey doing exactly what he did at round 6, which is checking out. Salvo currently in, oh, it says 6th, but they've gone wide and they've all very unsafe rejoin right into the path of Ivaslov. Gonna have to see this one again. Here we are on board with Ivaslov's car. There you see Vasalvo goes wide. Very sketchy rejoin there. That might incur a penalty depending on what the stewards make of it. Just trying to monitor situations at the moment. Cars are very spread out now. Quite a few of them. As there's yellow flags, I think that's the 4th place car. It is, it's Tazio. What on earth's happened to Tazio? They just ran wide. Again, someone carrying too much speed to the kink. So easy done. And they've lost another position to Hobbsy. Racing Pro also getting a lap down. Someone else has made a mistake. Quaj and Basalvo close together on circuit. Thought Basalvo may have gone for a move there. Opted not to in the end, so Quaj has really fell down the order. They qualified, I believe it was 4th or 5th. They've really fell down the order since then. Leinard all fakes to the outside, tries the inside. Doesn't quite work out for the Ferrari, but the Honda does pit anyway. Mulkey, one of the few that hasn't pitted, as is the case with Tom Bock and RPM. It's going to be interesting to see if the likes of Heisenberger, who's the highest placed of those who have pitted, will be able to get a bit of an undercut on the fresher rubber. Could be some juicy stuff. They were just about to lap one of the Alfa Romeos. I think it was Racing Pro again. Just on the lookout for any battles at the moment. We've seen plenty of action so far. As both Mulkey and Tombach are in the pit lane, as is RPM. So they've got to lap 8 of 15, so pretty much the halfway marker in the race. You can see the level of wear on the graphics of these cars. As where's Heisenberger? Heisenberger is out the final corner, and I think that Mulkey is already on the move again. You can see some of the others. Heisenberg is actually quite possibly going to get up into second here if they get a very good run through the Andretti hairpin. It looks like that's the case. Heisenberger on strategy has managed to get up to second, just ahead of Tombach, so a fantastic call by the WRL manager. Oh, a little bit of a weave, it would seem. That Lamborghini is looking very poised from the slipstream there. The wedge shape of it certainly assisting it. As down the inside goes Tombach. Those tyres aren't much fresher, but he's managed to make it work. Tombach up into second. Yet again, Heisenberger perhaps might try something heading towards the corkscrew. He does! He's down the inside! That could have ended so badly, but both of them just about survived. This is bringing RPM into it. Surely not down the inside here. Surely not. Thinks better of it in the end. Yet RPM all over the back of him like a bad rash now. Rear wing cam. Oh, the ghosting between the two cars, and I think, yep, down the inside goes RPM. So it was an undercut, very short-lived, but Heisenberger has at least managed to stay in the slipstream, but some great racing that we've just witnessed. Now, will RPM be able to catch up to Tombach? A little bit of a lock up there from the McLaren. Tazio and Hobbsy also quite close. Hobbsy with a penalty at the moment. .5 seconds again, so very strong penalties. Normally for corner cutting it would be a 0.5. So it must be people getting the corkscrew wrong or something, which is counting as a severe corner cut. Tazio in that Alfa Romeo. Surely he's going to try something at some point. Just chooses to stay behind for now. Fellow Alfa Romeo driver up ahead, Racing Pro. Teammate, of course. Oh, anti-cut could have very easily caught him out. Manages to save it. Now will Racing Pro position their car in such a way that it's difficult for Hobbsy to pass? Indeed, there's a bit of contact. Racing Pro goes off. That's a heavy impact. We're gonna have to see that one again, Chief. Racing Pro. Extremely unfortunate. It just seemed they got a massive punt. The Honda must have outbroke themselves for that kind of a thing to happen. It's really just not going their way today, is it? And again, they're off circuit, as I think Tombach and RPM, extremely close fight at the moment for second place. Right on the limit of the circuit. Heisenberger has dropped back a bit, out of slipstream range it would seem. Back on board with the Citroen this time of RPM, as Tombach goes wide and onto the gravel. They've got to rejoin safely here. They do so, and they have to slot back in behind as well. So that's RPM up into second. It's a Citroen 1-2 again. Tombach isn't going to take that one without a fight. No doubt they'll be trying their best to catch back up, as that's Heisenberger going very wide on the exit of the second to last corner. As Hobbsy and Tazio, I think that is the pass being made. Tazio does indeed get ahead of Hobbsy. Will Hobbsy be able to do anything in the braking zone? Opts not to in the end. It seems like it was just sent. Or Apparently it happened a bit earlier, but Hobbsy did manage to get back alongside for the outside run. Fantastic dueling between those two. Someone's had a massive spin. It's Racing Pro again. Very odd place to have a spin. It's just the rear tyres. They're wearing so much from the amount of spinning. And you just can't seem to control it anymore. Mulkey continuing to extend their lead. It's now 7.9 seconds to the good. Heisenberger making their way down the corkscrew. Still within sight of Tombach. RPM is starting to even get away from Tombach. Just check a bit further down the order. Quadge pretty much in no man's land at the moment. They're going through the second to last corner in that Lamborghini pretty much by themselves. Tazio still ahead of Hobbsy, starting to get away from them. Oh, looked like a bit of instability through there. There is Hobbsy with that penalty at the moment. Basalvo steady 8th at the moment. Ivaslov, there you see them in Leinard. Those two very evenly matched, it would seem, at the moment. Of course, Ivaslov at the start of the season was also a Ferrari driver. I recall it being a very bright yellow colour, as Leinard is very slidey out of the corner there. Of course, Ivaslov now in the Honda. Will they be able to do anything going down to the Andretti hairpin? Not quite close enough to do anything safely at the moment, although the Honda is understeering a little bit. Perhaps that might come into play. Looks like Leinard has a slight bit of an edge on pace at the moment. Ivaslov a little bit wide, as I think that's the 7th place car, or no, it's the 8th place car of Basalvo that made a mistake. And now look at this, it's become a three-way fight. As where on earth has... Oh! Massive impact for Leinard then. Let's see what happened here. Again, too much speed on the gravel. Spins. Too much lock when trying to get back onto the circuit. Very easy mistake to make, as I think that's Racing Pro going another lap down to Mulkey. Bit of traffic coming up for RPM. That's Real Scorpions and the Porsche. Also Maru, their teammate, disconnected in qualifying. Again, unfortunate for them. They've managed to safely get past. Tazio goes very wide to Narnia and back, completely off our cameras there. As we are about to go on to the final lap of the race here at Laguna Seca. Mulkey again having a very dominant performance. It's by far from over at the moment though. We've still got very close gaps, especially for second at the moment between RPM and Tombach. Here you see Heisenberger a bit further back, but behind Real Scorpions at this stage. Looking at some of the others, Basalvo and Ivaslov, these two also extremely close. This could be one that goes down right to the line. Ivaslov just needs to stay consistent and in the slipstream, of course. There you see Tombach, still within the sights of RPM, just outside that slipstream range. or just back into it, I think. It'll be a bit of dirty air, as I think there was a massive slide. Someone's gone off. That was Racing Pro. Very nearly collided with the people in second and third, but it is going to be Mulkey for Team Scotland Racing in that GT by Citroen, who takes the win here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Fantastic drive by them, as someone else has spun. I don't know who it is. It looks like RPM is going to take second, Tombach third, Heisenberger fourth, Tazio and Quadge. There's contact between the two of them. Quadge, they are up to fifth, Tazio sixth. They're going to try and send around the outside, bit of a cutback. Tazio down the inside, and I think that's going to be enough. Indeed, Tazio does take the position. Look at this. Cut back on the final corner of the final lap. Absolutely unbelievable. Seems it's going to be Hobbsy that does get ahead of Basalvo in the end. Basalvo, never mind, it was them with Ivaslov. Getting the Hondas confused again, but Basalvo does hold on to 8th, ahead of Ivaslov. And it's going to be Liner, the last car to come across the line, in 10th. Real Scorpions came across the line in 11th. Racing Pro in 12th. There is Leinard, and there is your race winner, Mulkey. Again, 1-2 for the Team Scotland Racing lads. Pole position, clean race. What more could you want? That was an absolutely fantastic race. Here are your results again. As you can see, Mulkey leading by 8.8 seconds in the end over their teammate RPM. Tombach rounding off the top step of the podium, or rather rounding off the podium. And Heisenberger fourth, just outside. Looked like they could have been in second, but that undercut very quickly faded out for them. Tazio managed 5th on the very last corner of the last lap. That was absolutely amazing racecraft by them to get the switchback on Quadge, who was just outplayed in the end, I have to say. Still very fantastic and respectful driving there, at least from what I captured on camera. Hobbsy managed to get 7th. They were 43 seconds back from Mulkey and 9 seconds back from Quad, so on a bit of an island, but a very solid and consistent performance by that Honda driver. Basalvo, teammate to league organizer Heisenberger, they managed to get 8th place in that McLaren. Ivaslov in 9th, very close to getting 8th from Basalvo, but couldn't quite do it in the end. Leinard, of course, finishing 10th. Real Scorpions in 11th. Racing Pro in 12th. We had a did not finish from A-Team Ghost. I think they were the one that parked up on the section just after the corkscrew on the outside. They were causing yellow flags for a good while. It may have been a connection issue, may have been a hardware issue. It's very common in league racing for stuff like that to happen, so really unfortunate for them. And of course Maru, who disconnected in qualifying, we've got to remember them as well. Extremely unfortunate circumstances for the Porsche driver there. So I hope you've all enjoyed the race today in the stream. I certainly have. Be sure to join us for round 8, which I'm not 100% sure, it might be the season finale. I might have to look that up at some point, but that is a possibility. If someone in chat actually knows that, then please send that to the chat. That'd be much appreciated. But of course, I hope you've all enjoyed the stream. Leave a like if you have done so already, or haven't done so already, and Of course, consider subscribing as well to keep up to date with all of the juicy content from the World Racing League. So until next time, I have been your commentator Zokiel, and I will see you next time, folks. Bye.